So I'm going to start the meeting. I don't know if Jeff is still on vacation or not.
Well, there's Jeff.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hopefully you guys did not wait in the waiting room at all.
Nope, I came right in.
Okay.
Same here.
I finally figured out how to do this. I just shut off the waiting room. Okay. So a couple of issues, couple I've added. So one was to get GitHub, there's a pull request to go move GPU profile. There's an issue which was filed against the server profile draft, which I need opinions on, I guess. And then we'll go through the profile status.
Sure.
And then last is I did a quick draft of the presentation for OCP Summit. So Mike, you'll know where you can go add slides. I've only got the first couple of slides dealt with.
Okay, cool.
All right. You guys see this, or do I have to reshare?
Nope, I see it.
Okay. So this is a purely a so the request from system GPU workstream is that they move the entire profile over there since they have their own repository, and I fully agree that should happen because it cleans up access permissions really easily because it's just the leads that have control of it. So I made the change already in the system GPU repository, so it's already there. So at this point, it's merely a matter of deleting from here. And what I wanted to do was leave a breadcrumb. So I've deleted all the files which have been moved. I've left the folder for anyone who has been looking and wants to find out where it went, and then a simple README, which tells you that the profile and all its associated documents have gone, and then it gives you a pointer. Any issues doing that?
Nope.
All right, good. Where's my button? Oh, I'll do that afterwards. Huh. No, I should have permission. Hmm. Okay, not sure why I don't have access. But going back to the agenda, so the issue I have is with this one. So this has to do with the fact that in the server profile, we had three sensors that you needed. It was the um, uh, temperature of the motherboard, the temperature of CPU one, and the ambient temperature outside. So that's what the issue is that we still have it. It's under power and under thermal. And so if you want to move it, yeah, that comparison would fail. So basically, I fixed the first two with a change to Okay, so I'll just talk through it. So basically, the intake in the system board is under chassis and environmental metrics. A specific type that you can have it um, reference. I believe it's ambient. I forget what the other one is, but that's easy to take care of. So last one is CPU. Um, so I had expected that to be under processor, um, environmental metrics, property temperature, and that would require her to actually create the, if she doesn't have one, the processor collection and the processor, and then instantiate CPU, one CPU, and have that temperature. Um, she asked whether it could be actually be done within um, as a sensor.
Um, I'm wondering if the requirement would be better suited to point to using environment metrics underneath a processor resource. Oh,
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I fixed it tomorrow's the temperature of CPU. I place it in the system processor environmental metrics.
and that's correct. And so our firm exposes CPU temperature through chassis ID environment metrics, and no, that's not how you would do that.
This is not how
You
you would do it.
Well, the way you did it is correct. How Amy's response is our firm exposes it through temperature through chassis environment metrics. That's not right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's
the environment metrics beneath a chassis are for the chassis itself, not for
mhm.
components within the chassis. I don't know what a CPU
Okay.
No,
chassis is.
no, and that's the explanation you should use right there.
Okay. Okay. No, no, that's fine. I think her response was that she would they actually have a processor. And I said, oh, fine. In that case, let's just move it and be consistent because I didn't want to break her um, implementation. I guess, she's willing to move across to the correct way of doing it. So we all agree the
I,
correct way is to put it under processors
I mean, you technically can do a chassis for a CPU, but why?
because she had no guidance on what to do. Right. So she just
Okay.
implemented it. And then we pushed out the profile and she said, I got a problem, John. And so she said, we did it over here. I want to know because I said, if if we make a prescriptive, right? Would it break hers and how long would it take her to get back on board? And so it seems like response from her is like we could do that. We and I think the last link was that she actually had a processor collection, so it wouldn't be that difficult for her to stick a environmental metric underneath it.
Yeah, it's just I know I get the heartburn about not wanting to break her, but at the same time, I don't want to break clients.
Right, which is why I asked you guys, what's the right way to do this? Is the right way to do it
Yeah,
with a processor one? And I'll say, you know, no,
you model a processor as a processor, not as a chassis.
right, right. Okay, okay, fair enough. Why is it?
It says you're not signed in.
I know, but this can't happen.
You're wrong.
It clearly did happen.
It clearly did.
It's, oh, I know, I got it, I got it. Um, what happens is it opens up in, Okay, that's done. Okay, so now back to the agenda. Okay, okay. Okay, back to the agenda. Rack PD PowerShell.
Yeah, I was trying to schedule time during the next Rack and Power meeting to show what we have to, what the state of the profiles are today. I had not heard back from the leads to see if they're willing to give me time next week.
Okay, all right, so John, open. So I know you CC'd me on it, so I'll go ahead and
Yep.
respond to it. Okay, so I started work on the hardware baseline 2.0, which will reference the service baseline 1.0, which we just pushed out. And I'm in the process of taking the diagram that we agreed upon and putting that into a profile. Okay. And then one last thing. So, with this issue, with the issue that we have on, we have an issue on the GPU profile, which is now moved to a profile group, but I think discussion is relevant here because we need to go in with an opinion. The statement is that it calls for push URI within the GPU profile for a phone update. And the requested change is, of course, to go to multi-part. If we make that change, does the versioning go from 1.0 to 1.1 or 2.0? Because I think it goes to 2.0 because
I
it's
think it
managed.
goes to 2.0. Yeah, it's
All right.
mandatory.
Yep.
As long as we are all in the same opinion, I can take that forward into system GPU. Okay, and then the last is oh, we have a number of other guests. So I'm at this point I was going to go to the okay, see that? Someone say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I know a couple of people have joined us. Are there any open items that we need to discuss before I go on? Okay. All right. So this is the session I got approved was prescribing remote manageability for IT and OT. And this is my way of kind of looking at the previous profile presentations have always been, here's all the profiles we have um, uh, kind of in the tree form that you see on the wiki. I want them to take a different look at it. I'm in the process of attending a IT OT a data center workstream, and they dragged me in because they wanted to talk manageability. So as part of that, I've only been to two meetings. Um, I got the idea of just contexting this in ITOT because that's what they seem to be looking at. So I think this is all I have. Yeah. So I only have 2 slides. So this is managing the IT and OT aspects of a data center. So I've listed the IT profiles that we have, and then the OT profiles that we have. Feel free to add, and then the common baseline that we want all of them to come from. So from this, I guess, bullet list, we can go drill down into anything we want. So we've got, I think, 20 minutes. So we could pick a couple of slides for each one of these. I know, Mike, I want you to talk about the service baseline
Yep.
in more detail because that's based on this bullet list, right? That's what's common.
Yeah, and I want to start making that even more common because right now it's only used by a handful of profiles, so we need to start migrating things over to have that good baseline for everyone.
Exactly. So we'll talk about baseline and then we'll talk about the profiles which have started referencing it. Hardware baseline 2.0 and then the cooling environment profiles, right? Do the PowerShelf and Rack PDU reference it at this point?
Yes, they do. That's part of the
Oh,
motivation to get that out the door and have them
okay.
as a 1.0.
Okay. So then this is a great segue because we can do this and then we do service baseline, connect it back up to here, and then we say we connect it up to this hardware baseline. Okay. So so that can take as many slides as we want, and that can fill a good portion of the 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. Second half is the tooling for creating profiles.
Tooling for profile. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So one is Jeff Otter has a tool which I think he created for the cooling environments, which you basically either give it a mockup and it will generate a profile framework from which you can work from, or you can ask them can I do a table? So this is a basic common separated table where you specify the resource, the property, and the requirements, and it auto generates it creates the profile framework from which you can do. And this is based on the fact that when I attended the cooling environment meetings, right? That's all Mick did. He went to the table, and then he hand generated the profile afterwards. And so I said, if you do it from a table, then this is what the SMEs like to work with, right? In table form, and that this way they don't need to understand profile syntax at all. And so by the time Mick came back and said, "Oh, I took all this work we had done in the table, I've generated this profile, so let's go through specific areas of this profile, long descriptions, things that they really care about." Okay. And then the second half would be AI. So I've been in 2 situations where AI has been used to co-generate profiles or actually fix profiles. So Mick has a number of stories where he's actually taken the profiles he generated and had AI quote find errors in them and then fix them up for him. And NeoClouds, which is a new work stream, decided in the first polling that hardware management was the area that OCP had the most clout and was the biggest problem within NeoClouds. And so their co-lead, I'll say co-pilot, used co-pilot to basically suck in the entire profile syntax document. And I don't know what other prompts he used, but he auto-generated his profile within 2 weeks. And so we've been in the process of trying to discuss how that should be reviewed and how he's going to take it forward. So I think both of those are good because my intent here is to show that now profiles span multiple areas, and now there's tooling if you want to jump on this train and continue to create additional profiles. Any questions? Okay. Sorry. I could delete that one. So the first part was managing IT and OT. So I've taken a picture from the Open System for AI Blueprint, where I basically had this diagram about why we need standards for managing the full dynamic data center. Is that within these two quadrants, so I'll describe the entire slide. So this is static. So in the old days, you did hot aisle, cold aisle. You were locked. You couldn't move anything. You couldn't move workloads. You couldn't move power. You're stuck. And you built what you built. And if you didn't like it, you had to go rebuild it or you had to change it. IT infrastructure, dynamic IT infrastructure basically says you have standards on controlling the management of the components that fill up IT. This is the servers, the network, the switches, all that actually delivers the workload. And the DMTF is created Redfish to go manage most of that. And then extended that Redfish to the physical data center. So I've changed in my text. I'm going to change this to OT. We now manage everything besides the IT, besides what delivers the workload, the power, the cooling, and all that. The issue is that creates two domains where you have an orchestrator which can get telemetry and assert control over its domain. Usually the IT guys and the OT guys don't talk to each other, and you manage what you manage, I manage what I manage. What that does is, whether it's a person or an orchestrator, they can maybe look at the other side, they can see how much workload is occurring, but their control is just power. Same with person on the IT side, he can look at how much power is coming into his server, but all he can do is change workload. And the true way to get to the dynamic data center is where you can get telemetry from both sides, both domains, and make a globally optimized decision on what you should do and then enact that. And so in order to do that, that's the takeaway, which I haven't got, is that you need standardization on both sides of this thing in order to create a dynamic data center orchestrator, which doesn't have, which minimizes the amount of coding and the amount of abstraction he needs to understand in order to manage both sides. Any question? So I take it from this slide to this slide, which is my segue of, based on that, this is where OCP has created profiles. And then from there, we can go into, Mike, what do you want to dig into, which is the service profile.
Yep, looks good.
Okay, all right. So that's all I have, and then I've pinged Jeff on what he's got his repository for his tool set.
Not my repository.
Oh, the repository. Huh? I have actually no. I know you gave it to me once. I have no idea where it went. So
yeah, so it's in the DMTF. It's in the Redfish private tools repo.
yeah.
But there's a long history around that. But I think that we're at a point in time that tool is probably useful and helpful for other folks. And I think we didn't want to have a billion different profiles created because that ruins the purpose of the profile in the first place, to consolidate folks in the market about what requirements they have. But that fear is about a decade old, so I think we can get over that. and I think we'd be better off helping folks to get their profiles created and tidied up.
Right. So I'll probably ask for one or two slides from you as to summarize the tool. So we can touch upon it, and then we can get people to actually go across and fetch it. So
yeah, we can bring that up in the Redfish forum.
Okay. So I think we have at least 20 minutes of presentation here. think that's it. And then our actions. Okay. With that, I think I've covered everything on my agenda and more. Are there any issues I need to handle? Anything, any opens? Okay, if nothing else, guys, then we are done. Thank you for attending.
All right, thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Talk to you later.
Okay.